Have you ever pondered over the intricate world of finance and wondered, what exactly are expenses? Well, let's unravel this mystery together. In the vast financial landscape, expenses are the costs that a business incurs in its quest to generate revenue. They are the silent partners in every business venture, the unsung heroes that make the wheels of commerce turn. Expenses come in various forms, from the rent we pay for our office space, to the salaries we give to our hardworking employees, to the cost of the raw materials we transform into products. These are not merely numbers on a balance sheet, but vital elements in the story of our financial journey. Understanding expenses is not just a matter of financial literacy, it's a key to unlocking the secrets of successful business operation. It's about seeing beyond the figures and appreciating the complex interplay of resources that drive our economy. Now that we've dipped our toes into the waters of expenses, it's time to dive deeper. Expenses are not just a singular entity. They come in many forms, each with its own unique role in finance. Let's take a closer look at these many faces of expenses. Firstly, we have operating expenses. These are the costs associated with the day-to-day functioning of a business. Think of them as the fuel that keeps the engine of a business running smoothly. They include rent, salaries, utilities, and the like. Then, there are non-operating expenses. These aren't directly tied to a business's core operations. Instead, they pertain to events or activities that are outside the normal course of business. Examples of non-operating expenses could be costs related to lawsuits or restructuring. Now, let's talk about fixed and variable expenses. Fixed expenses, as the name suggests, are costs that remain constant, regardless of the level of goods or services produced by the business. These might include insurance, property taxes, or lease payments. Variable expenses, on the other hand, fluctuate in tandem with the level of production. When the business is in full swing, these expenses rise, and when things slow down, they fall. Labor costs and raw material costs are classic examples of variable expenses. Each of these types of expenses plays a pivotal role in the financial world. Operating expenses, for instance, are crucial in determining a company's operating income, a key indicator of its profitability. Non-operating expenses, while not directly linked to core operations, can significantly impact a company's bottom line. Fixed and variable expenses, meanwhile, are instrumental in cost-volume profit analysis, a tool used by businesses to understand how changes in output level, cost, and price affect their profit. As we delve deeper into the world of finance, we'll see that these expenses are not merely costs to be minimized. They're integral parts of a complex financial ecosystem, providing valuable insights into a company's financial health and performance. As we have seen, expenses are not a monolith, but rather a multifaceted concept. In the financial ballet, expenses and revenue are the twin dancers. Without one, the other loses its meaning. Imagine this. Revenue is the graceful ballerina, twirling and leaping across the stage with elegance and poise. She represents the income generated by a business, the sales made, the services provided. She's the star of the show, the one everyone's eyes are drawn to. But what would our ballerina be without her partner, expenses? He is the strong and steady force that lifts and supports her. Expenses represent the cost of doing business, the money spent to make the revenue possible. This includes the raw materials purchased, the salaries paid to employees, the rent for the office space, and so much more. Now here's where the magic happens. The dance between revenue and expenses. Every pirouette, every leap, every lift is a delicate balance between the two. And just like in a ballet, balance is everything. If expenses are too high, our ballerina, the revenue, can't soar to her full height. She's weighed down, unable to shine as brightly. But if expenses are managed effectively, they can actually lead to increased revenue. Think about it. Smart investments in marketing can attract more customers. Paying competitive salaries can bring in top talent who can boost productivity. Upgrading equipment can improve efficiency. These are all expenses, yes, but they're also stepping stones to higher revenue. The key here is balance. It's about knowing when to spend and when to save, when to invest and when to cut back. It's about understanding that not all expenses are bad, but rather necessary components of the dance. But how do we achieve this balance, you might ask? Well, that's where financial management comes in. It's the choreographer of our financial ballet, guiding the dance between revenue and expenses, ensuring they move in harmony, in sync. So, in the dance of finance, it's not just about making money, but also about effectively managing expenses. But wait, expenses are not always the good guys in our financial story. There's a darker, less pleasant side to this seemingly necessary aspect of our economic lives. Picture a coin with two faces. On one side, expenses can be a driving force for growth and development. Flip the coin, however, and you are staring at a potential pitfall, a trap, waiting to ensnare the unwary. Consider an individual or a business that doesn't keep a keen eye on their expenses. The money flows out, like water from a broken dam, with little to no control or oversight. It's easy to justify each expense separately, to tell ourselves that each is necessary, each is crucial. But slowly, steadily, these expenses pile up, forming a mountain of financial obligations that can become overwhelming. This is where the danger lies. Uncontrolled expenses can lead to financial instability, a slippery slope that can end in the devastating pit of bankruptcy. And bankruptcy, as we know, is not just a financial nightmare. It's a stress-filled, life-altering event that can have long-lasting effects on one's mental and physical health, as well as on relationships and overall quality of life. Think about it. When expenses exceed revenue, when the outflow becomes more than the inflow, we're dealing with a deficit. And a deficit, if not addressed promptly, can spiral into debt. This debt then becomes an additional expense, a burden that weighs heavily on the financial stability of an individual or a business. So what's the solution? How do we avoid this dark side of expenses? The answer is surprisingly simple. Control. Like a wild beast, expenses need to be tamed and controlled. It's about understanding where your money is going, about making informed decisions, about setting limits and living within those limits. In conclusion, while expenses are an integral part of our financial story, they are a double-edged sword. They can fuel growth and development, but if left unchecked, they can also lead to financial downfall. Remember, like a wild beast, expenses need to be tamed and controlled. In the end, knowledge is power, and understanding expenses gives you the power to control your financial destiny. In this financial journey we've embarked on together, we've delved into the mystery of expenses, explored their many faces, danced with revenue, and even braved the dark side of expenses. Now, it's time to harness the power that comes from understanding expenses. Expenses, as we've discovered, are the costs incurred in the process of generating revenue. They're the fuel needed to keep the engine of a business running smoothly. They can take on many forms, from salaries paid to employees, to costs of goods sold, to operational expenses, and even the occasional unexpected expenditure. Understanding expenses is not just about knowing what they are, it's about comprehending their role in financial health and their impact on profit and loss. It's about recognizing that while expenses are inevitable, they can and should be managed. Remember, not all expenses are created equal. Some are necessary investments that drive growth and profitability, while others could be trimmed without affecting the bottom line. The ability to distinguish between the two is a powerful tool in financial management. By keeping a keen eye on expenses, we can ensure they don't spiral out of control. Regular reviews of expense reports can reveal patterns, highlight areas of inefficiency, and offer opportunities for cost-cutting. Understanding expenses also means acknowledging their darker side. Excessive expenses can eat into profits, lead to financial instability, and even push a company into the red. But armed with knowledge, we can mitigate these risks. In the world of finance, knowledge truly is power. Understanding expenses doesn't just allow us to navigate the financial landscape with confidence, it gives us the ability to shape that landscape. It allows us to make informed decisions, to strategize, to plan for the future, and to ensure the financial health of a business. By comprehending the complex world of expenses, you become the master of your financial future. And that, dear listeners, is a power worth having. So, we've taken a journey through the world of expenses, but where does this leave us? We've peeled back the layers of this financial concept, revealing its many faces. From fixed to variable, from operating to non-operating, expenses are not just numbers on a balance sheet. They're a pivotal part of the financial dance alongside revenue, influencing profitability and overall business health. Indeed, expenses can have a dark side, leading to debt or financial instability if not managed effectively. But they are also a reflection of investment in growth and innovation. Thus, understanding expenses is not just about avoiding the negatives, but about seizing opportunities. Let's not forget, though, that our journey doesn't end here. The financial world is always evolving, always throwing new challenges our way. Continue to learn, continue to adapt, manage your expenses effectively, and let them be your compass in this complex terrain. The world of expenses is complex, but with knowledge and understanding, you can navigate it with confidence and ease.